Shalom, this is Rabbi Mark Kunis and my Taste of Torah for Parshat Shoftim 57:81. Who are our heroes? During the COVID pandemic and now with its new Delta variant, it's undoubtedly those on the front lines in the overcrowded hospitals putting their lives on the line every day. For the rest of us, what makes a hero? Can we be heroes? This week's Torah portion discusses the laws of war and some of the moral imperatives that apply even under fire. Specifically, we read of the exemptions that entitled someone to be excused from fighting. One of these was, quote, the man who is fearful and faint-hearted. The Torah rules that, quote, he should go home, join the civil service, lest his cowardice melt the hearts of his comrades in arms and demoralize them. Interestingly, Maimonides rules that this exemption applies only to Milchemet Reshut, wars which were optional for political or territorial reasons, but not to Milchemet Mitzvah, wars that were a mitzvah to fight, such as a war of self-defense. But what's the difference? If we're worried that a coward's fear will influence other soldiers, then what difference is there if a war is a mitzvah or mandated by our leaders? Surely a coward is a coward, whatever the war. Maimonides is teaching that fear and anxiety are magnified when there's more than one option. When war is not a mitzvah, but a government decision, then we may very well choose to sit it out. But when we are threatened, it's a mitzvah to defend ourselves. There's no choice. And then even cowards can become heroes. It was that famous American philosopher, John Wayne, who said, true courage is not the absence of fear. True courage is being scared like hell and saddling up anyway. The doctors and nurses who tirelessly risk their lives to treat victims of this pandemic do it despite the danger. They courageously face and overcome their fears. I could tell you many stories of ordinary people who became heroes. How? Because they had no choice. They had to do what needed to be done. I came to Atlanta because a fire in my shul in Brooklyn loosened the asbestos in the steel beams and the EPA shut it down. I'll never forget that as the fire raged, people ran into the shul to save the Torahs. You see, when something must happen, we find a way to make it happen. We pluck up the courage and act valiantly. This applies to everything, to life, to marriage, to business. If something is so important to us that to lose it would be unthinkable, we discover that we can find a way. My friends, in Jewish life, we have a choice. To observe God's mitzvot, which we are commanded to do, to be kosher, to make Shabbos special, or not. To take Torah classes and come to shul on a holiday, even if it's on a weekday, or not. So cowards of the world, unite. As we begin this week, the Jewish month of Elul, the month that leads into Rosh Hashanah, let's join God's army as we find the courage to follow his mitzvot, his commands, and do what we know must be done. Let's finally show ourselves and our loved ones that we have the valor to make the right choices. That's how ordinary people become heroes. Have a great Shabbos.